Talked a lot about this defense coming into the matchup. Not anyone against it. What was the challenges posed?
I feel like third, fourth down, you're just a big, especially first half, cover zero team. So always bringing a guy that was extra. Then we had blocking, and that was kind of what we saw. Third and fourth down, that's kind of what they did, especially in the first half.
Obviously the game plan was very run heavy. Was that something you embraced coming into the game? There was very few chances for you to throw the ball, certainly in the first half.
Yeah, I trust the coach's game plan each week. You understand it. You have conversations, and my job is just to go out there and execute. The play that's being called, and yeah.
Jaxson, you had a long conversation with each of the other quarterbacks in the locker room. What were they trying to tell you, I guess?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep that between us.
Jaxson.
We talked to you earlier in the season. I forget specifically which loss it was after, but you were very down. And you had said that you don't want this to become the norm. You're not used to this. You don't want this. You got to snap the ball and not make this become what happens week after week. Unfortunately, here it has. The losses have kept piling up. How have you been able to process this and keep your morale up when things just haven't been working for you guys out there?
It's just a new experience I've never been through before, and that doesn't make it any easier than what it is. And you just try to do your best to stay positive as much as you can, and there's just a quick turnaround each week. So I feel like the times where you hang on a loss for too long, it goes into your next game week prep. So that's kind of just the mentality and process that I've just tried to have.
You continue to go through your development in the league this year. Are there certain plays today that you want to go back and look at and just say, I'm doing another look at those just to make sure you're processing it the way you expect to process?
Yeah, I would say, probably early on in the game, there's a few plays where, just decision-wise, check-wise, I feel like I could have done a little bit more. So those are kind of the ones that are on the top of my mind at this moment, but you got to go back and watch the tape.
Jaxson, at 2-13 here for this team with 9 straight losses. Just what are your emotions at this point?
Still just trying to process this one. It's kind of just a hard question to ask or answer. Sorry, it's a hard question to answer right now. Just it being so fresh, and obviously this is just not how you plan it out to go in your head before the season. So it's definitely been difficult.
Do you think you guys had enough answers to what they ran on defense today, like built into what you saw and what options you had?
Yeah, you trust the game plan. You have those conversations with the coaches, and you just do your best to execute. And for myself and for our team, we all had opportunities, and we didn't do that at a level enough to win the game.
Was this as uncomfortable as you think you have felt in the pocket since you've been here?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. I thought they did a good job of staying true to rush lanes, and the opportunities that you have in the game when you're kind of in those exotic downs, and when they're trying to light it up, you just try your best to stay composed during all of that. But I thought that they did a good job.
Unfortunate part of it is you get to a situation, you prepare so much for this defense, what you thought you would get, then the game starts. When you leave here, do you feel more prepared? Unfortunately this league is a one game and that's it. But if you were to see this team again next weekend, do you feel like you would go into that game because of what you experienced today, maybe a little bit differently prepared to face them now that you've seen them?
Well, I didn't think that there was anything that I felt like I hadn't seen on film. We kind of knew how they were early downs, and then when they got into exotic downs, depending on where the ball was on the field, what we were going to see. And opportunity-wise, I think that you just have to be great. When you have those opportunities, to throw the ball, and a lot of them are on third down. You got to be able to make those plays and everybody be on the same page.
Do you think it might have been helpful to throw the ball more on those early downs?
I trusted the plan. We had conversations, and as players, we have communication with the coaches, and you go out there and you just do your best to execute what's being called.
Have you ever been part of a game? I think it was 13 net passing yards.
No, I haven't.
Nothing close, I would guess.
Jaxson, after a game like this, you don't want to get into the details of it, but what do Jameis and Russ, what are they able to give you as veteran quarterbacks when you're seeking their counsel after a tough game like this?
Probably the big thing is perspective. They've been through a lot. They've had crazy good games. They've had games where they struggled themselves, and so a lot of this is new for me, and you definitely lean on those guys and have those conversations.
Since you've come back from the concussion, I know numbers aren't everything, but statistically they haven't been 3 stellar games between Washington, New England, and then this one. Have you noticed things specifically from the defense maybe playing you a little bit differently than before that compared to how they are now?
No, I wouldn't say too much. I mean, each defense is different. You play each week. So you just do your best to prepare, and whatever play's called, you just got to go out there and execute it.
What do you hope to take away from this game?
I mean, just not let it happen again like this.
Take a Jaxson, I don't apologize if you already asked this, but by the end of the game, you had 3 different offensive linemen, different starters you've been playing with. What was that like?
Sorry, can you say it a little?
Different offensive line. You had 3 of your starters out. What was that like for you?
I've gotten reps with all those guys throughout my time here, so this is probably the first time we've had that much movement and rotation. But I've trust in all those guys, and they prepare and work really hard, and so I have all the trust in the world in them.
After you guys tied it up, and then the defense was on the field, watching you from up top on the sideline, you were bouncing back and forth, pacing around. What's the mentality in that situation? I mean, are you blocking everything else out and just say, give me one more shot?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely what's going through your mind. And I thought the defense played an amazing game, and could have had another touchdown. So I thought they did a great job tonight. We just didn't play good enough complementary football off of them.
It wasn't a big factor today. What are you learning about the winds of the stadium?
I didn't feel like it was blowing that hard today.
No, I know it wasn't today, but I'm just saying in general, because you had last week you had some wind, the storm and everything. I'm just saying as you go through and you play here at home, the wind is always a factor. So are you learning anything about how do you play in the wind in the Meadowlands?
Yeah, I think that you know kind of the weather report before the game, but I didn't feel like there was any really wind factor to even kind of make adjustments off of today for me personally.
How do you deal with drops by your receivers?
Just look at what I could have done better to make it easier for them.